going to go ahead and get started, okay? 5 minutes early. It's all good because you all here. We're here. Let's get the party started. Hello,
Yes.
Maureen and Deborah. Welcome aboard. Okay, today, Walter and I are going to be talking about positive activation and discovery of your power.
Yes. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
these things not going to cost you nothing because you already have them inside. Okay? So, Margaret Williams, I am the Empowered Leader Publisher. Okay, I help marginalized leaders, okay, rise from the ashes, okay, to meet your desired outcomes. Okay, and we have Walter again. I'm honored to have you here. And Walter is the author, teacher, and content creator whose work examines public integrity, social justice, and the everyday impact of power and inequality. Okay? Best known for his Substack letter, I'd rather be writing. He approaches writing from a form of resistance, challenging dominant narratives while staying grounded in lived experience. Okay? You were raised in northern Wisconsin and educated in English literature at the University of Wisconsin. And Ryan has spent nearly a decade. You spent nearly a decade in Lima,
Yep.
Peru, right? Including teaching, writing, and working as a translator. He is the author of both fantasy and memoir-style books.
Yep.
Okay, across genres, his work blends clarity, humor, and reflection with direct critique. Okay, all right. A stay-at-home dad in an immigrant family, he weaves personal life into his commentary and actively supports other independent writers. And I'm so honored you're here today. Okay.
Oh, where'd you find that? Where'd you find that that bio of me?
I got it out the chest, out the archives.
Awesome. Oh, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate your energy so much, and I need the good feeling, the good vibe. So it comes out of the screen when you appear. So I thank you for that. The whole world thanks you.
So you brought it.
You got energy that goes beyond. So we need that. The world needs it.
Absolutely. So talk to us about your journey, or however, before we get into positive activation and rediscovery of your power. Okay, you know a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell it. I've been talking about it a lot with Will Fullwood, where I grew up in just this conservative community, rural community, and just the pressure you're under to just kind of suppress your own creativity. Because that whole white supremacy narrative that dominates the United States, they can't take people who ask questions, right? So just before I'm any kind of age at all or any awareness of the world, I'm already being punished just for asking questions and saying, well, what you said just contradicted, So it's just constantly, though. It's like 20 years, you're 18 years old, and it's just pressure, 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 and this idea that you don't fit in. And this is like the white side of this. And I know that the Black experience is, there's that targeted aggression, but there's this, I try to activate white people to make them understand how the indoctrination of white supremacy hurts you, and it hurts you, and you have to get away from it. And I ended up not knowing what to do. So I just went to Lima. I went and lived in South America for 10 years. And that gave me the opportunity to be away from the white supremacy culture and kind of rebuild myself and reestablish so I can live by my own sense of inner integrity. And it's a hard process. And I try to help activate people so that, because I look around in America today and what we're facing is because of white people. The base of this fascist regime is white people, and they need to be active and they need to challenge this and restore decency, or bring decency for the first time to our country. And we can do it, but it's a matter of speaking. And so, yes, I thank you for having me on.
Yes, I'm honored that you accepted. Now, let me ask you a question. You said start at 18. I think it started way before then at birth. Okay,
Yes, the
let's keep it real.
indoctrination does. But I was
Yes.
only when I was older and I finally was you resist, resist, resist. And then you have to try to get to adulthood where you can actually be like, well, for me anyway, I gotta get away from this. I don't know what it was. But it's sort of it's so hard because it's and Will Fullwood always says it too. He's like, everybody gets indoctrinated with white supremacy in the United States. And it's for people who are compassionate people by nature, it's such pain that it causes. It's constant pain and agony just to live here. Hi, Eric.
It's, it started from birth. Okay?
Yes.
From the programming from your parents, then everything we watched on TV. Okay, I lived in the black neighborhood. Everything I saw on TV was of white people. Okay,
Yes.
so who can I identify with?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you see all the people in the neighborhood
Jack.
doing this, doing that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the life that I want to live. I don't want to live life, on the streets. Because we know that type of life, it has a shelf life of maybe 20, 22, and then you burn out. And then what you gonna do after that?
Yeah.
You done gave yourself away to the world. What you got left for yourself? So
Yeah.
I screw this, because when I was living on in the neighborhood, I'll just say that I can look across the street, seeing people putting gurney, putting the thing around there to shoot up. You can see all of that. You see, other prostitutes on the street, giving away their bodies being prostitutes. And I'm like, well, what can I do? I don't want to become a statistic. I don't want to end up with 3 or 4 kids
Yes.
and just another statistic. So I
Yes.
said, this is what I can do instead. I'm gonna go to school, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And people saying, well, you think you better than us.
Oh,
You can think whatever you want because you're not gonna be paying my bills at the end of the day. You
yeah.
ain't gonna be nowhere to be found. I'm gonna do what's in my best interest. You go ahead down there on the street corner, sell the drugs, whatever you once you sell those drugs, then you got a record. Okay, who gonna hire you? Who gonna hire you
They
then?
they push you to fail. They push you to fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna make you become what they are. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna be in your game. I'm not gonna take nothing from you. So I don't
Yeah.
owe you nothing. All of these things prepared me to the crap I'm dealing with today.
Yes. I feel the same way. And white supremacy is an attack on empathy. It's an attack on compassion. So I mean, I was in this small rural community. We had 100 people in my graduating class, and they would just ride you for being kind. You would be like physically assaulted for showing kindness. And we see that. We see that in this regime where they talk about toxic empathy. They're trying to make it sound academic when they're just talking bullshit. Empathy is power. Love is power. It's way more powerful than their violence and their hate. But it's so hard when you're 10 or you're 5 and you're trying to be kind to people and you're getting physically attacked for being
You know
kind.
why? You know why? These people hate themselves. So if you hate
Yes.
yourself, you don't want nobody else to have nothing either. Let's
Yes.
call the kettle black.
Yep. And every accusation is a confession. And they start out with babies. And because they want to attack, like they call babies evil. They call babies sinners. Babies haven't done nothing. Babies are pure. They're wonderful and good. And it's projecting all that self-loathing and hatred they have. And then also making us think that's just the way of the world. And I always encourage Americans, reevaluate your assumptions about basic humanity. Because most Americans are like, well, people are always going to exploit each other. People are always going to be mean. It's not true. Yeah, it's not true. People can be kind. People want to be kind. It's just this toxic white supremacy culture that makes people mean. It's like if you go to other places, they embrace you and they're kind to you. And we can be like that too.
When I see it, because I had picked up a lot of the tendencies from my narcissist Baptist. He was a Baptist minister. So I did adapt a lot of his tendencies at the beginning. But then I
Yeah.
noticed that being that way, egotistical, that people are not going to really be wanting to be around you. The only reason they're going
Oh,
to be around you because they fear you. Okay?
yeah.
But when they get from around you, they're gonna be talking about you like a dog, like they did him.
Yep,
Okay?
yep. I had the same
And you have
experience.
no loyalty, no respect from nobody because you give none.
Yes,
You get what you give.
absolutely. You put it out into the world. And I have that same experience. Just that just misunderstanding of how and I pushed people away for a lot of my life too until I understood these things, until I managed to look to myself and be like, I'm repeating behaviors that were tossed at me. I don't want to behave like that. That's not from me. That's from other places. So I can remove those. And that's that separation of identity that we all have to have. You're a human being. You're not an American. You're not white. You're not black. You're not any of these things. You're a human being and you want to love other human beings. So just focus on that. And anything that takes you away from that, you can just discard. But it's not going to hurt you. You know, that's the thing they have such trouble with.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's easier to be kind, to be loyal, to be dedicated. That takes no effort at all. And to even
Yes.
smile. Okay? But to be evil,
Oh,
evil, it
the
takes a
cost.
lot of work.
Yeah. The
And it
constant
costs you
fear.
your soul. It costs you your soul. You
Yep.
have no empathy for no one and not even for yourself. And that's a sad life to live because most of those people die alone.
Yep, and they have to pretend other human beings are less than human so that they can live with the fact that they torture them all the time and just
No,
the contortion in their minds. Yeah, go ahead.
and to make them feel good about themselves that they brought you down.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that?
And it's like you see that in people's families. It's like I celebrate when my wife does well, and when my kids do well, I celebrate. You know, and it's just like, why would I not do that? And if you are addicted to that white supremacy mentality where you have to hold your members of your family down, and I grew up with that, so it was both the community and the schools. They did, even though you'd go to school to learn things, you get punished for being a smart kid. It's like I did
Yeah,
well, and like you said, it's like I'm going to college even though they were presenting it as if like you have to do well. They'd give you these things that were impossibly hard. I can pass any test. I mean, they didn't want me to pass. And it was just sort of like I didn't figure that out until later in life that I got really good at this stuff.
you can look at that from the testing that they did, the schools did, with the people in the I'm not racist, okay, because I wouldn't be on here with you, okay? I'm not. So but I'm just saying, even the testing they had up in the state system favored favorite whites, okay,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
ones that they gave us, we had different type of educational materials that we were provided, okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that bias right there put us out of the running in these what do you call these steps? You got to take the SAT and the
Yeah.
ACT.
Yeah.
We are not given the proper education. So how the hell are we gonna be able to take the SAT and
Yeah.
ACT to uh to uh to pass and get into these Ivy League schools?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we know that these testing scores. That depends. Whatever comes out, that depends. They'll decide how much funding your school will
Yep.
get.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and you got Republican communities like where I grew up where they're just so anti-education, so they're turning away funding for the schools, and then the people in the community pressure the teachers, and so it's just like as a kid you're trying to survive this, and I was just reading. I had a list of like the 100 greatest books ever written. I don't know where this list came from. I'm sitting there reading these books just to try to prepare myself for college, but college was a huge struggle for me. I mean, I could do all the work, but it was the social part because I've been indoctrinated with the rural farmer mentality, and farmers treat their kids like slaves. That's another thing that's not said enough. Where you'll see kids get fed into balers, kids get freaking. I mean, they're driving tractors and shit. I mean, there's all these horrible farm accidents that happen where kids lose their arms and shit, and it's
Oh
just
my
stuff like that goes
God.
on, and yeah, like these farmers, they think of their kids because these farms don't make any money, so they need the slave labor of their own kids.
You know
Yeah.
why they don't make any money? Because the government, they say, hey, they set these farmers up to fail.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep, yep, that's it.
And you stuck with this land, you stuck with all of this the equipment, and what
Yeah,
are you gonna do? Who are you selling to?
they're mortgaged up to the eyeballs and, they live only on subsidies. It's just not possible, And yeah, the family ends up suffering. I mean, physical pain, emotional pain, just the pain of a hopeless future. And even on top of all that, the farmers vote against education for their kids. So they make it impossible for the kids to get out. It's like they think the only purpose in
What
life is
the
to bury
fuck?
their children. It is. It is fucked up, isn't it? It is a mess.
It is fucked up.
I barely got out of that. I barely escaped this.
I was ostracized from my family. Okay, I was abandoned by my mother, abused by my father. Okay, uh, and ostracized from my whole family. So I was really blessed to do that because my family was toxic, a family full of narcissists.
Ah, we got that in common
Okay,
too. And thank goodness you made it out. Thank goodness I appreciate you. Thank goodness you found people to appreciate you and surround
you know
yourself
who
by loving people.
appreciated me? Who appreciated me the most was people that I met, strangers that I met
Yeah,
like you.
I've had that
Okay,
experience too. Yeah, yeah. It's such
that's
a
who
it's so
became my family.
And I mean, look at America now too. We got this entire country where daughters aren't going to ever talk to their dads again because they voted for that guy, that piece of shit rapist. I mean, I would never. I mean, I wouldn't expect my daughters to talk to me if I voted for a person who like took away their bodily autonomy and who bragged about sexually assaulting women. And I said this to Nick the other day. There's a lot of Republicans. The first time they encounter accountability in their life is when their family ghosts them for voting for these assholes and these oppressive human beings.
To me, if you vote for a human being like that, then you are that person.
Yes, yes, I agree.
That's my sentiment. Okay, because I
Oh,
seen. Okay, I didn't really want to go into politics because we can go down a rabbit hole and we will never come out.
oh,
Okay,
it's okay. We're in a friendly space, but you're right. I mean, and that, like that pressure that comes in where they're like, "Oh, we have to understand them. We can't." It's like, no, you guys. It's like that's the whole problem we're in because we don't name the evil we're up against. We have to put a name to that evil we're up against. Have to call them out on it. Otherwise, it's just going to linger forever.
otherwise we're complicit and we are part of the
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
I want to be a part of the solution.
Yes. And that's
Okay,
yeah, and what we were talking about, and I put so much thought into it, is how do we activate the people are awakening. People are awakening, but we have to accelerate that process. And just because I still run into so many people in my community who think that they're good people, but they're just indifferent to all this suffering and that issue, that 5-year-old kid, Liam Ramos, who had been taken in by ICE, and they said that this poor kid was in deteriorating health and he finally got released. But it's just you're hearing stories about these little kids and how many other kids are still in detainment right now? How many children are still being detained and tortured? And yet our social dialogue disregards that, right? So how do we get our society to the point where they recognize these atrocities that are going on? They awaken themselves. They understand they have the power to change this and fix this today if we awaken them.
people aware. Okay, maybe, but they don't feel comfortable getting involved. If we don't get involved, that could be your grandchild, your child or grandchild tomorrow. And that's what people fail to realize. Well, it don't have nothing to do with me. Okay, fine. But that could be your kid or grandkid
Yeah.
or your neighbor's kid tomorrow.
That's
It could be you tomorrow, them pulling you out and telling you you got to get on a plane to go back to whatever country you were
yeah.
born or you came from. So we
Nobody's
need to do something. We need to do something.
yep, and
It's
nobody's
nothing
white.
but making if it's nothing but making a contribution towards the cause.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody's white enough for a white supremacist. It is a ideology of genocide. And the second they don't like you, they're gonna tell you, oh, you got one drop of blood that makes you impure. So it's just this entire lie of it. And people thinking, and I talk to a lot of people. I ask white people, you got proof of your citizenship on you? And they're just like, just to tell them, to show them how uncomfortable it is. And they don't have it. And I'm just like, what do you think? You think that there's not immigrants from other countries who look just like you? You better start being aware.
And don't forget, they start looking at your DNA. You're gonna see that you're
Yep.
gonna have some black blood in your DNA. You're gonna have Irish. You gonna have this, and then they say, "Oh, you got 1 cent of blood of black." So we're gonna send you back to Africa.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, or worse, they'll send them to these concentration camps that are all over the United States right now, and your taxpayer dollars are paying for it. and kids are being tortured in these camps. I mean, we don't have proof that they're not. And, there's just no accountability. There's no oversight. People aren't being allowed in there to see what's happening. And this is all being operated by a regime that is protecting pedophiles. And so it's just the horrors of what's going on right now. You can't ignore them. And there's no safety in being complicit. We have to oppose this.
No ifs, ands, or buts. When the word that was came true to me was make America great again. What the fuck was wrong with America the way it was?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying, you're gonna take us all the way back to the industrial organ revolution. Where are you gonna
yeah,
take us? Back to the
yeah,
cotton gin where my family, my ancestors was picking cotton? Is that where
yeah,
I'm gonna end up?
yeah.
As I'm too dark to be an indentured servant, so I'd be in the field. Okay.
Huh. Yeah. But it's like you're tapping into what because there's all these dog whistles for white supremacy, and that's exactly what they meant when they said that. Make it their words that they said. They wanted to go back to a plantation era. I mean, yeah, we got a whole regime made up of pedophile. They're not arresting anybody. Somebody posted today. It's like we got this spreadsheet of all these crimes, the Epstein files they're talking about, all these crimes, all this evidence. Not one person's getting arrested, and it's like they're just flaunting us with it at this point. Like, yep, we just raped kids. There's nothing you can do about it. And I think we're
Get
having this
over it.
collective awakening.
In other words, get over it. Okay,
Yeah.
because there ain't a damn thing you can do
Submit.
about it. Because this is our show. Yeah, they want us to submit. I've already did that. I'm not bending over again. Okay.
No. No, no. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stand and do nothing while they take children away? Are they gonna march all your child's classmates from third
That
grade?
that could be your child. That could be your grandchild's child. Where's my child at? They,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
this is
Imagine the horror.
ridiculous.
Imagine the horror of not knowing where your children, what's being done to them. Imagine living like that.
When I was a kid, there used to be this commercial. Do you know where your child is?
Yeah.
Then they used to say, do you know where your parent is?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, okay. When they took prayer
yeah.
out of the when you eating meals, that was the beginning of the end. I'm not saying necessarily to put it in the schools because everybody have their own religion and they have, but you can still, when we used to say the Lord's what was it? It was
Yeah.
the the allegiance.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking.
the
Yeah, we
pledge.
used to say that the Pledge of Allegiance. We used to have to say that in school every day. And
Yeah.
there was this Madeline, whatever. She was an atheist, and she said we want to take prayer out of the schools. Okay, honestly, I travel all over the world. Okay, and every airport, you have a place where you can go to pray if you want. Okay,
Yeah.
whether you're a Muslim, whether you're whatever, you have a place whether you want to do that. And when you take all these things out, what are we left with? What values do we have to instill into the children? Okay, the principles that we need to follow.
Well, part of the
All of these
problem
things are stripped away.
Well, part of the problem is that white supremacy has defiled Christianity too. I mean, white supremacy took the mechanism, all the decency of Christianity and perverted it. And so that's why when they say America's always been a Christian nation, it's a dog whistle. What they mean to say is white supremacy, America's always been a nation of white supremacy. But I think we're having a moment of recalibration, where people are finally looking around and saying, why is it that only evil people get to have all the money? Why do the rest of us have to work until we're exhausted and then get up and work 3 more jobs just to pay the bills, while a handful of just the worst people in the world get to have their own private islands and they get the benefits of all of our labors and they get to torture kids and never be held accountable? Why can't we change that?
They have unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. When you
Yeah.
have unfair advantage, then you have all of this stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
But if one thing happened to them, their whole life caves. They
Yeah.
can't handle pressure. They can't
Yes.
handle stress. They can't handle the things that we handle. Okay? They will go crazy. Those are the people that will commit suicide because they can't handle it. Oh, my money is gone. I can't do this. My car has been taken. Oh, my house been taken. Those are the ones that commit murder suicide. I'm
Oh,
just telling them they can't handle shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and they're so desperate. I mean, I think, I think too. I mean, we're seeing with this Epstein thing, even though they think they're being cute, they're delaying. But I think that people are seeing it, and they're trying to do all these tricks. Like they released the files where they didn't redact the names of the victims, which was
That's
like the most.
bullshit. They
Yep,
never had planned to do it in the first place
right.
because that will uncover the mask of so many people,
Well,
and those people gonna go down, and they are responsible for this republic the way it is because they put it in there. Be careful what you ask for. Once
yep,
you get it, whatever happens to you, that's your karma. You
yep.
figure it out.
Yeah, well, all these people out there, they've done these just horrible, horrible deeds. They think they're above the
Everybody,
laws of countries, but they're not above the laws of the universe, and there
they
will
think
be
they're
an
God.
account.
They think
Yeah.
they're God.
Yep,
Okay,
they're gonna find out different. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And when you fall, good. Good
yeah.
riddance.
But you're
Then the
right.
next one's rised up. Then we'll have to take
Yes.
them out too.
All the bad ones. But I mean, we got to change our minds because so many Americans think that it's okay to be obscenely rich. And don't think like that. We have to get all the people watching here. You have to understand this, 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 this justification for these obscene wealths. Wealth. That's all the dogma of white supremacy. They indoctrinate us. They tell us this lie that we too can be rich if we just follow their lie or their teachings, and they just lie to us. They exploit us. It goes back to what we were saying before, where you go to a school that pretends like it's preparing you for a future, but it really is sabotaging you, stealing your own autonomy, they're installing imposter syndrome within you, so that you then just submit to their abuse as if you deserve it. And that's what we have to remove.
You know what? I had when I finished in high school, I had to start at the go to community college because I was ill prepared to go to the university because of the improper educational system that was in place.
Yeah.
And and I remember when our president used to have his own university and how many people that they buked out of money, and then the people had to pay it back, and they didn't get the education that they had paid for. Okay,
Yep.
so when you
Fraud.
go to a university, make sure it's accredited. Make sure that everything is legit, and you don't
Yes.
lose your money. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? It's
Yep.
just scam after scam to extract your money and everything else that you have at your disposal for their good. And most of these people are miserable anyway.
Yeah.
They're miserable. They're not happy.
Yep. And that's so important to emphasize. And that's part of the power aspect, what we wanted to talk about today. Because what's been really frustrating to watch is how this regime, the guy, they're all so weak. Every single one of them they're just weak. Bullies are
Cowards.
always weak. I'm sorry?
They're cowards.
Yes. And it's so easy to expose them because, like, the president couldn't assemble a Lego set that's two pieces. He's incapable of any achievement whatsoever. That guy, there's not a thing.
Cognitive decline, he's just a puppet anyway. They
Yes,
tell him what they want him to sign and what they want to
absolutely.
do. They'll take the papers, bring it here, sign. Yeah, he's not smart enough to read it anyway. He wouldn't know what it
Yeah,
said.
I don't
He
think he
just
can read.
signed. He just signed. That's it. That's
Yep.
what he's there for.
But they're like that old white supremacy movement. They're incapable of achieving anything. They're incapable of learning anything. They disrespect experts. They disrespect scientists. They're like that obnoxious bully who sits in the back of your class and disrupts the class for everybody else. And yet they want to be rewarded and they want to be admired. So they slap their names on the achievements of others. And they've slapped their name on this entire country. Well, we're the ones who built this country. The working class is the ones that built it. We're the ones that actually can achieve things and do things and survive a little bit of hardship. So they're not going to take us down. And all we got to do is push back on them. But our feckless Democrats are all a bunch of these entitled jerks. So we have to push back on our entitled Democrats too. It'd be so easy to dismantle this.
We have to take our country back. Period.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay?
Yeah,
So
we deserve to be rewarded for our labors too. It shouldn't just be us being exploited to serve some frickin' pedophiles. That's got to stop.
exactly. That's why I quit. That's why I quit because it was in conflict with my values. Anything and anybody that's in conflict with my values, I delete.
Yes.
I completely limit access. Okay? Because
You have
time out for that. Because our job is too important.
yeah. Well, you start surrounding yourself and getting to meet you and talk to you and just reinforce because they pressure you so much. And people need to be aware. It's 95% of what you encounter in this country is pressuring you to doubt yourself, to feel imposter syndrome, and to take away your voice. So you doubt your ability to speak. And so many people I go and meet, and they're pretending as if these atrocities aren't happening. And if you go and try to talk to them, they give you that they give you that glazed face like, we shouldn't even be talking about this. But the more we talk to people, we more we make it common. I've been going around just saying justice for good to people. I've been saying justice for good just to like activate them a little bit so they get used to hearing it. So then they get used to saying it to other people too. And then our voices will come together and we start to demand this change. But yes, I didn't realize this a year ago, how much power the working class has, how much power the actual people of this country do have. They've tried to make us forget or not understand how much we had. Good trouble. Yes, that's a good word, but just more and more and more. And every day, don't wait for the midterms. Don't wait for the primaries. Talk to one or two people today, even just one person. When you're buying something, just say, hey, justice for good. How about that? Let's have a victory for good in the United States. And then see how they respond. And they might just say, thank you. Thank you for making me feel like I'm not alone because we're not alone. There's so many more of us than them.
The thing that we have to be concerned about now is them trying to suppress the vote. And I believe that that's what they're already doing.
Awesome. Yeah, well, they did in
Okay?
the last one too, yeah. They rigged the
E-
last election, so
Absolutely. Every time you suppress the vote, that's going to be in their favor.
yeah. I think I think we're gonna see defections. I mean, there was that vote in Texas just now, so that's good. But we can't just be content with winning the primaries. I mean, we can vote everybody out in the primaries, which we should do. We need to completely reform our government. But we can't be content with that. We can't be content with the midterms. We can't be content with the next presidential election. We have to continue to push because there's a lot of people that are just going to be making the right vote but not for the right reasons. There's people that are just knee jerk. They're just like, oh, gas is up again, I'll vote for somebody else. They have to understand that we've been the target of a white supremacist movement, and white supremacy needs to be obliterated, and that needs to be taught in our schools. So we got to run for school boards, we got to run for state positions, everything. This doesn't stop. We can't just be content to go back to some old status quo that didn't work for us. We got to push the pendulum hard to the left. Universal health care, universal education, everybody with a roof over their head, everybody making enough money to survive on not every hour of their day. You get to have your free time too, time with your family. So that's what we need.
I couldn't agree more. And so we need to choose response over reaction, really, because
Mm-hmm.
because reaction is what they want from
Yep,
us, which is
absolutely.
a negative, takes us away from our path. Okay.
Yes. They want to provoke us into violence. That is not our way.
Yes.
And so I keep telling people, don't even spread that stuff. And it's like when thanks, Jack, that runforsomething.net. Great, great page there. Do it, people. Everybody, please. And don't be results oriented. Doesn't matter if you don't win. Just go there and speak. Just get out in public and speak and say the things. Speak from your heart. And even if you don't win the election, you've spoken and you've activated a few more people. Maybe you've inspired somebody else to run. So don't worry about things that are going to fail or don't worry about what's going to win or not. Results don't matter. Acting by integrity matters. The results will come. Maybe it'll take 50 years. Maybe it'll take 100. But today, you will feel better. You will feel better. If you act by your own integrity, if you embrace that, if you have the courage to do that, keep coming back to conversations like this to be fortified and to have greater courage and to keep going forward. So just survive. Rest when you need to. Keep coming back to us to be recharged. But keep working and don't worry about the results. We'll just keep going with our integrity.
Absolutely. One step forward is a step in the right direction, regardless of how small it is. Okay?
Yes, yes. And they've gotten in here. That's the thing. That's the nature of white supremacy. It's in here. They put it in here. They put it in your mind without your knowledge, and it makes you stop. And it makes people, because I hear all this defeatist language. Oh, what good's that going to? Oh, there's not even going to be a midterms. And just all these things that people say. You have to peel that away. You got to make those responses go away. And when I was talking to people, when I've been saying justice for good to people, the first time I said it, I had to overcome a resistance. Where did that resistance come from? That resistance isn't from me. That resistance was put into me by oppressive regimes going back all the way to when I was a baby. All these lies that were told. And we have to undo those lies. We have to be a better model for the kids. Yes. And then they'll be
Flip
strong.
the
My kids
script.
are stronger. What's that?
Flip the script.
Yes. Yes.
Ask a question. Is that true?
Yep.
Not,
Yep.
9 times out of 10 is not.
Oh, the assumptions people have, the assumption. And here's the inspiring thing. My kids are already they're so much higher than I am. They're higher than I'll ever be. Because
That's
I was
what you
through the
want.
process. I'm sorry?
Because they're going to need, that's what you want because they're going to need it.
Oh my God, the things that they can do that I could never do, and they're taking like forensics. I couldn't speak in front of people when I was 12, you know? My kids are giving speeches, and it's just sort of like, because I've been there to support them, and there's just so many things that are still, I flinch. I got these like shadow psychoses that make me flinch away from things, make me assume that I'm about to be hit because my whole life was being hit. Well, my kids have never been hit, so they don't have that recoil reflex that I do. And that's a large thing that stops me. And as much as people who come to my lives and see me talk might think, oh boy, he seems like he can speak okay. You know, there's a lot of stuff I have to overcome to be able to talk like this, all this abuse and all these things that are part of our culture. And we're raising a generation of stronger children who haven't had to endure that abuse and they can lead for us. But we just got to set the ground for them.
And you are a living witness, and look at you today. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
You shows what's possible. Okay?
Oh, we can come through it. We can come through it. And so many people are afraid to. I've talked to people and then you see, sometimes you can get through. I mean, I fully support people who have to get away from their toxic families. You have to take care of yourself first, second, and third. Absolutely. But there have been times when I've gotten through where I've at least seen glimmers of the humanity that's still there, that wants to get out, that is encaged by all this white supremacy conditioning, and they're tortured. Part of them is inside there, they're tortured, just getting through to them. And they think they're so afraid of accountability because they get to a point where they've done so many awful things that they just have to deny the whole idea of accountability because they think it'll crush them down. They've allowed themselves to be reduced to this rotten, spoiled mass. But I think even then, they can be redeemed if they were to have the courage to just apologize.
Have to repent.
Yes, yes.
Okay? But people don't want to do that. So what we need to do is shift from self-protection to self-trust.
Oh, go elaborate on that a little bit. I want to hear more about that.
Okay, when we trust ourselves, we can trust what decisions that we make. Okay?
Yes. Yes, I got you now. Because the white supremacy narrative, it makes you deny reality to listen. That's why the entire right wing, they're in lockstep. All the bullshit they say, because they've been indoctrinated to believe a white supremacy narrative that it contradicts observable reality. And they do that to us. And it's the line from 1984. They make us doubt what our eyes see and what our ears hear. You know, they make us doubt. And what you said, trust yourself. Yeah, and it's like when I was talking to Natasha Kay yesterday, and she said it's like they made me feel imposter syndrome. She was working with the Harris campaign. They made me feel imposter syndrome. And she's been reflecting on it. I could tell she's been reflecting on this experience. And it's like, you know, damn it, I was right. And they were pressuring me to self-sabotage me. And I'm a writer, you know, I know what imposter syndrome is too. Because all my life I'm told, well, you're not successful enough. Your books aren't good enough to be put in this big publishing house. And it's like at some point you're like, you know what? I know that I'm good at this. I'm going to believe what I know over what they tell me because they're a bunch of liars. And they, like you said before, they're consumed by self-loathing. So they see something that's better than they are, and they have to pile their disdain upon it to hold you down so that they feel like they can come up. We have to all rise together. That's the only thing that works.
Right. And if that's not the case, then they're not your your crew.
Oh
Period.
gosh.
And eliminate them out of the way.
And that's sneaky too.
Period.
They hide their true nature too. So you have to be careful, but they're out there. Trust yourself.
Your body will tell you before your mind registers.
Yes.
If you feel something's not right, trust your intuition.
Oh my goodness. What you just said, that's so much of my life has been directed by just decisions I didn't consciously make. Like when I went to Peru, it was just sort of like, I don't know. I got to get out of here. Like some part of me is like, you're in danger here. It's the same part of you that's like, don't go down this dark alley. There's danger over there. Don't go there. And you just don't go there. And we're kind of taught not to believe that too. I think that's part of white supremacy conditioning. They make us doubt ourselves in so many different ways because we know that things, we know in our heart it's not right for a secret police to abduct 5-year-old kids and torture them. We know that's not right. And our response, so much of the white response is to just do nothing, to say, oh, that's not my issue, that's something else. And meanwhile, it's like we should be screaming at people. It's like, you have to do something. You have to awaken. You know this isn't right. And you feel better when you start living by your integrity. You feel better. But we have to help people find that power. And you're more powerful. You have your autonomy. You're interacting with observable reality. You're making your own connections. You're using your divine creativity and your critical thinking. And everything about white supremacy steals that from us.
Also, Walter, we need to move energy instead of suppressing it. Utilize your energy to your advantage. Okay?
Yes.
You have all these skills, talents, lived experience. Utilize it.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're in a dangerous situation, you're like, well, how the hell can I get out of here?
Yeah.
Things just pop up in your mind. Okay? You got to do the same thing. Okay?
Yes.
This not working. What can I do instead?
Yes.
Okay? You got to be able to sometimes be quick, make decisions very quickly.
Yes. And try things.
You have to be willing to trust yourself and your intuition.
And you have to be willing to try things you've been indoctrinated to believe will never work. That's another thing they do. Like things like universal healthcare. So many Americans don't even talk about that. They're just like, and so it's like doors in your house you just don't open because you've been told your whole life, maybe one of those doors is the way out of the house, and it's like, you just have never opened it though. And it's like, that's what I did too when I moved to Peru, because everybody's like, well, America's the best place. America's the best place. It's too dangerous. And I go there and it's like, well, no, that's not true. And for a while, I would just do trips like the U.S. State Department would say, don't go to Venezuela. I would have a ticket to Venezuela that afternoon and I would fly to Venezuela. And it's like, well, this is a great place to be. I did that multiple times where you start just, and it's just challenging authority is all it is. Why are you believing these things? These ultimate authorities who tell you things.
We listen to the news and they tell you all these things and have you in fear and scared, and to keep you small, to keep you down here, okay? Mediocre, okay?
Yeah.
And who does that benefit?
Yep.
Who does that benefit?
Yep.
Not us.
Yep. They keep you powerless. And the right is terrible at it, but the DNC, when I start saying, hey, we need to embrace universal healthcare, the Democrats will say, we can't go too far to the left, even though they never say we can't go too into white supremacy. They never say that. They just say we can't go too far left. And you have to push back with like constructive criticism so we win.
Let me tell you, a lot of this stuff that's happening on the surface, they have these backdoor deals. And I watch one of these shows I used to like. I forgot his name. And it shows you that, we got this evidence on you that you had an affair with this woman. So unless you pass this law, we're going to make sure that this get out to the news or whatever. Yep. So a lot of times they have you by the short hairs. Okay, they got some incriminating information on you. So a lot of these things they have the intentions of doing right at the beginning, but you have other people, the other side, finding ways to make you sign that bill.
Yes.
Let's keep it real. It's corrupt.
Yep. And we're told, like from our first day of public school, we have to obey the teacher, right? We have to obey authority figures, even when they say things that are wrong. And they leverage that all the time. You're never rewarded for challenging the teacher or the professor. When you get to a master's degree, maybe you can be rewarded a little bit. But everything we're all indoctrinated to just believe authority figures. So then when somebody like me comes along and just is like, think about it this way, you encounter just tons of resistance. And that's another thing that we just have to overcome. You have to instill in your own children. And this is something you can do right away. Admit you're wrong. Like your children, like I found this all the time. Sometimes we'll be doing something. I'm like, I try to remember something. The kids remember it better than I do because they got like 10 years of memories. And so if they said, no, it's this, Daddy, we check it. It's like, you were right and I was wrong. Just get in the habit of saying that to your kids. We have to model empowering our kids to know to speak when they know that they're right, because that's part of this whole control mechanism. And you can do it respectfully and kindly.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, practice. And you get
Okay.
stronger and better. And I become more powerful too, being able to admit mistakes. So I don't have to then stand fast on this hill that's a lie. I'm like, oh, we all move together. It doesn't create these fractures in our relationship because they had to endure something that wasn't just. I mean, all these things compile. And I've found as being a father, raising my kids, I've always done the opposite of everything I was pressured by our society to do. And people say right away, oh, watch out for the terrible twos. Watch out for those horrible threes. When they get to be teenagers, they're going to be awful and none of that is true if you raise your kids with respect and you empower them and you respect their intelligence. And it's like, if I'm trying to raise smart kids, they're going to find times I'm not a perfect person. They're going to tell me I'm wrong often, and they're going to lend insight, and we're all rise together. And that's what we have to do.
Rising together is very, very important. So I want to see if anybody have any questions, Walter.
Sounds good. It's a delight talking to you. I like it. Get all riled up.
I love it. I love it. Connie said authoritarians never apologize or admit they were wrong.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's their weakness. That's their weakness, because that means they can never learn, they can never get better. And that's why we got this pathetic man in the White House who has to stamp his name on the achievements of others to feel big. He's receiving empty awards for doing nothing. Like, for me, if I was to get an award, like for writing a great book, the real prize there is the book and being recognized for the book. Just getting the award doesn't mean anything. That just tells you how empty the guy's mind is and how empty his heart is.
Everything is about him, is about the ego. And so that's why everything he touched turns to shit.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're right. Let's just speak the truth. Speak the truth.
Okay. Truth, yes. The trajectory said they don't listen because they can afford not to. Exactly. They set the rules. They set the tone and everything else.
That's what they think. But as we come into our power, I mean, we showed them with Jimmy Kimmel. If we cancel everything, if we stop supporting the millionaires and billionaires, they collapse. They don't contribute anything. We build everything. We're the working class. We're the ones who do things. They're just parasites. So we have all the power. They have none. Remember that.
We also pay all the damn taxes.
Yeah.
Find a way not to pay any.
They get free government money. They get bailouts. They get PPP loans. They get all kinds of subsidies in the billions. Why are we giving billions of dollars to billionaires? That's what we have to demand. Why doesn't the Pentagon have to pass an audit? Why do they get free money? Screw that.
If you did an audit, a true audit on them, most of them people will probably end up in jail. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, it's all false. They're all fake. Well, I mean, that's important for us to know. We got to strip away the veneer, the outer layer, and show the rod underneath, because they sit there like billionaires come and they promise, oh, I'll teach you how to be like me. But really all they're doing is suppressing us and lying to us and stealing our goodness and our work and
our money.
Exploitation. Yes.
And our money and our retirement.
But it's all just this big fraud because they have nothing. They have no power. We're being manipulated by the weakest human being who ever lived, the current occupant of the Oval Office. And the problem is we just need to stand up to him like you've stood up to every other bully in your life. They keep capitulating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, the thing of that, never let them know you coming.
Yeah. Well, just stand defiantly and say no. Just say no. I won't do it. Nope. I'm leaving.
That too.
Yep.
That's out. I'm out. Okay. Gloria said, I'm told you can't talk to it that way. You can't talk to the who that way. Who? I can say what I want to say. Okay?
You know what?
My mama taught me it's a way to say everything. You can say something really nasty in a sweet way and saying the same thing.
But that's another tell. It's another tell when somebody's lying to you. It's another tell when somebody's lying to you. When you ask a reasonable question and they respond with rage, and we see that from this administration all the time. The question I'm asking is, and this is a legitimate question, What assurances do we have that children are not being raped in ICE detention centers? We deserve those
We don't know.
assurances. We deserve those assurances that that's not happening. They're not letting us in. You can ask that question to any Republican politician. It's a respectful and reasonable question to ask. They're going to flip out. Like, how dare you? It's like, why are you getting angry? I'm just asking for assurances that human rights violations are not happening that are funded by taxpayer dollars. You have to make those assurances.
First of all, why the hell you captured the kids in the first fucking place? They shouldn't even be there.
Yes,
That's one.
absolutely.
That's the first thing. They shouldn't
Absolutely.
be there. Period.
Yep, yep. And when they get defensive, we can't respond like you said before. We have to have a measured response. We can't just react and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry you're offended. I must be wrong." You say, "No, you're getting mad and your anger is what's inappropriate. My question deserves an answer." They're going to get us with that though. They condition us. They condition us to have this response. And we've seen that the Democratic politicians have retreated in the face of these rampaging Republicans because so many of our Democratic representatives are from, they're the silver spoon guys who have never had to endure that. But I've had to deal with bullies on the school bus and at every other
Me
part and
too.
bullies at home. So it's just like,
Me
no,
too.
you're not allowed to get mad now because my question is reasonable. Yeah.
If they get mad, that means that you hit a nerve, and
Yes.
that's something that needs to be investigated.
Yes. And that
Okay,
requires,
there's no reason for you to get angry for me to ask the question.
yes, yes,
Something's
yes.
wrong with that picture.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know that. That is a really important, I got to come up with ways to help people practice understanding that because they say all these things and we are indoctrinated to respond with capitulation and submission. And we have to overcome that indoctrination and remind ourselves, I am allowed to ask these questions. People who have been in people who have been in relationships with narcissists, you've developed this skill. You've developed this skill.
Yes,
Use it in politics now. Take that skill set, click, put it into the lens through which you perceive political messaging, and it'll change. It'll take a couple of weeks, but you'll start reading these responses. You'll start seeing their reactions in a different way, and you'll be empowered. You'll be empowered to understand they're trying to manipulate you because you are telling the truth they don't want the world to see.
exactly. They want the world to stay the way it is, the way they want it to be. Okay? But I don't want to live in that type of world. And I don't think that my children or grandchildren have to live in that world
Yes.
either.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Our ancestors fought for all the rights that we have and they'll be taken, stripped away,
Yes. Yep.
including our heritage.
Yeah, they're just the lies about history, and I tell you what, they can't erase it because I've seen quite a bit of history myself. I've seen it personally. I know other people have seen more history than me. So, you can burn all the books, you can erase all the film, but you're gonna have to put a bullet in here. And it's like there's a lot of people that know the truth. And we have to be empowered to tell the truth. I mean, what are they gonna do? Kill us all? And they keep trying to threaten that. Screw that. These are the weakest people that ever lived. This government that we're being ruled by right now is weak people that have to abuse children to feel like they're powerful. That's how fucking weak they are. They're abusing children to feel like they're powerful. We have to expose it.
And they're also killing us because they're putting all the chemicals back in the water, back in
Yeah.
the air. We remember what's that? What I forgot that one they made where that city was dying with all
And
the
Aaron
chemicals.
Brockovich, the movie Aaron Brockovich was about that.
Brockovich,
Yeah.
Aaron Brockovich. That's what we're heading back to because they wanted to
Ugh.
deregulate so they can take that money, okay, and put it in their pockets while we
Yep.
are dying from all these chemicals they're putting in the water and the air
Yeah.
and killing our unborn and our
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
De-
And
defects.
and they try to make us cower, right? They invent all these things that they claim to do. It's like the dictators who come in with all these lists of medals that they didn't earn. Like, oh, I'm this great thing. And all that is just this facade to hide the fact that they have done nothing and they're not capable of anything.
They haven't even served in the fucking military. They
Yes.
dodged the fucking military so they didn't have to feel any uncomfort.
Yes.
People like me who spent 39 years working for the fucking military.
And
How the fuck you gonna tell me anything? You haven't
yes.
lived long enough to know anything, to experience any pain or uncomfort.
You know what it is? Have you ever heard this story where you take a baby elephant, like a baby elephant's born, you tie a rope around its leg, and then as a baby, it can't break the rope. But as the elephant grows older, it becomes strong enough to break the rope, but it just never tries because it was taught as a child it can't break the rope. That's us. That's us. We've got the strength to break the rope. That's really the most basic way I can say this. They indoctrinate us to think we're powerless. Just try. Flex your muscles one time. That rope is going to just burst and you're going to be free and powerful. And they're terrified because we are being led by the weakest, most pathetic criminals who have never achieved anything. I'll say it again. These are people that have to rape children to feel powerful. That's how pathetic they are. And we're just kind of allowing them to control our lives and make us feel afraid. We don't have to feel afraid. We are all conditioned to submit to this. And it's this long process of undoing that and coming into our power. You'll feel so much better just bit by bit, and give yourself grace too, because this is day one for some of you. It's day one for some of you. And you have to keep coming back. You have to keep learning. Every day it gets easier. Keep coming back. Listen to us. We'll keep fortifying you. Come back with your questions. We'll get better. We'll get stronger together. We'll build. There'll be more of us. There's no way we could not all rise together when we do that. We join together. We have power they can't imagine. That they've suppressed.
Brother, I'm with you. Brother, I am with you, okay? And so we must choose discernment over people pleasing, okay? Period.
Yes. Make a choice. Make your own choice, because they force our choices on us. We only have the illusion of free will to a large extent in the United States. I mean, free right up until the moment the bills arrive, right? So then you have to go get a job. So just start peeling back all those various lies, and all the comments help so much because it helps me see new ways that we can grasp back more power. But just having the courage to demand that you be treated with dignity is a step that most people don't even ever reach in their lifetimes. And the more we can help other people feel that way, the better it is for everybody.
I want to say, if people can't treat you with respect, then cut them off and move on.
Yeah.
That's the only decent thing. If a person can't do that, then you don't need them in your life, period.
Yeah, those ones that are close to you are the hardest ones. The ones that have known you for years, they know exactly what buttons to push. There's other people you might have a chance of redeeming. And, I'll talk to people if there's hope, if they have an open, like as Will said, if they have an open heart and an open mind, I'll talk to them. But the second they start pulling their bullshit, or they're deliberately misinterpreting the things that I say, no, waste. And I can tell within about 3 words at this point, because I've dealt with it a lot.
Yeah, because people misunderstand you on purpose.
Yep. They're not being intellectually honest. They're not being fair. And they repeat, but a lot of them too are repeating all these reasonable sounding. I mean, the white supremacy indoctrination, it's on the surface. It sounds reasonable. They say things like, oh, respect our venerated traditions and customs. It's like, until you know that's a white supremacy dog whistle, the words by themselves, it's like you have to make the next, what customs? What specific customs? That's like when they say the Civil War is about states' rights. Which states' right? Is it the right to own slaves? It is, isn't it? So the Civil War is about slavery. Is it not? Yes, it is. And so that's what you have to do. You have to dismantle it. But they come at you with them hard and fast and hostile. And so it takes a lot of preparation and training to be able to absorb these things and throw them back at them. And bit by bit, though, it's because it's coming out into the light. All this white supremacy, they can't hide it, and it dies in the light. It dies in the light because when people actually see it and recognize it for what it is, that other part of you, they reject it.
Call it out.
Yeah.
Call it out. Call it out. Hold them accountable.
Yep. And say it like it is. Like the restrictions. It's like I've been telling people, these people that are like, oh, I'm pro-life. It's like, if you are legally restricting women from having life-saving reproductive health care, you're a white supremacist. I don't care what you think you're doing, but you are fighting for white supremacy. Controlling women's bodies is part of white supremacy. And it's like, if you want, I would like women to have babies too. I want them to have access to health care, and I want them to have proper nutrition and a roof over their head. I want them to not have to be stuck with an abusive partner. We can work on all those things. But the second you try to make things like reproductive health care illegal, you're a fucking white supremacist, and you're going to hurt people. You're going to kill people.
I don't need you in my life. I don't need you in my bedroom. I need you out. I
Yep.
need you telling me what to do. I have five senses,
Yes.
okay? And I have free will. I know what I need to do. I
Yes.
know what you need to do. Go in over there and get yourself together.
Yep.
Okay?
And we might have to have those conversations with our parents and with our grandparents. You might have to. And you can give them the choice. It's like you can either be in my life or not, but you're not going to be in my life if you're an abusive asshole who votes for women to die or bleed out in agony. You're not in my life then. And it applies to all these other things. They sabotage you. These whites, they pretend to be your friend. Love bombing is the other thing. They'll, they might be 364 days of the year. They might be the nicest person in the world. If that one day they sabotage you, that's like Gavin Newsom bringing Steve Bannon onto his podcast. That guy's out now. You're done. You built up goodwill. You ruined it all. You bring up people like that, you're out. And so we just have to
What's he
hold them
thinking?
space. Oh, well, they
Okay.
all do that. They all normalize white supremacy. And our job is to call, like you said, call out white supremacy, hold them accountable, and even if they cry or whatever, however they respond with anger, they respond with tears. You say, no, you have the choice right in this moment to live with integrity from this point on. I will give you a pass on the past. Maybe you were misled. Maybe I'll give you that benefit of the doubt. But from now on, you know what the truth is. From now on, you have to act accordingly. From now on, you are accountable in my eyes, and I am a witness to you. And you have to hold people. That's up to us too. And like Margaret said, if they refuse to be on your side and to support you, if they insist on remaining toxic, they're out. You want them gone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we don't have time to waste because all we have is now. Tomorrow's not promised.
Oh, and we have to
Okay?
work. Yeah, I mean, and don't wait for the midterms, people. We have to change the hearts of America because right now there are 70
Hearts and
million people.
minds.
Yeah,
Hearts and minds.
well, there's 70 million people in this country who, even if they saw the video of all these horrible things, these rapes of children, they would still support that party. That's what we have to understand. And that's our objective here. We have to change the community. It's not about just swapping out politicians for one politician who's maybe 20% less corrupt than the other. We have to change our communities. We have to have everybody rise up with one united voice and say, we are not going to stand for powerful men raping children and never being held accountable. And we're not there. We're not there. We have to make it there. And it's going to take really, really, really hard conversations. So go out into the field, have those conversations in your community, come back to us if you take some hits. I'm talking emotional hits or challenges, because you're not going to win. You're not every single one. You have to keep going anyway. And we'll help you. We'll all get better at this.
We all take hits. I take hits every day. But
Absolutely.
I brush that shit off because
Yep.
nothing gonna stop me, nothing and nobody.
We're
And
used
that's
to
the
it though.
attitude. That's the attitude we have to take.
Yep. We're used to it
Okay?
though, and I'm just giving people grace because the first time they do it, it's going to be like, what? And it's like, yeah, this is part of the process. You'll get there, but you will feel better if you insist on taking every action in your life in accordance with your own personal integrity that you decided, not something that was put into your brain by a white supremacy dogma, something that your heart told you is true, that part of you that protects you always. You have that guiding light. And if you start giving yourself the power to listen to that and you help empower others to act that way, it comes really fast. We start doubling. It takes like a month to get everybody in the world once you start doubling. So put that in your mind and be positive and be hopeful because we can win. We will win.
Absolutely. Brother, I really am so happy we had this conversation today. I knew it was gonna be magical.
Yeah,
Walter, we'll have to do it again sometime, you
absolutely.
know. And thank you taking the time out of your busy schedule for
Oh, I'm
this. It
so
was
happy.
amazing.
I needed the positive. You're just a jolt of energy, but I feed off you, so that's good. Some of my other friends absorb my energy, but I could get a little louder. I gotta get some tea with some honey in it, so I can really get my voice going here. I'm wearing it out right now, but that's good. That means I've done good work.
Yes, you have. And thank you so much for this powerful conversation. Okay. And I will be in contact with you. Thank you, everyone that have joined us today. We appreciate you. And we
Rise,
have to we have to continue. Rise, absolutely,
feel your
rise.
power. You've got all the power in the world. Don't listen to the lies. You're powerful.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, we are. All right. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
We'll see you. Love everybody.
Love you all.